सर आप लोगों ने पिज्जा तो यकीनन खाया ही होगा।
पिज्जा
जी
हाँ
खाया।
खाया है।
तो आज हम चाहते हैं कि क्यों ना हम एक इतिहास देख लें पिज्जा का।
अच्छा
अच्छा
तो आप इस वीडियो को देखें और इस पर अपनी प्रतिक्रिया।
क्या बात है यार, पिज्जा का इतिहास।
पिज्जा का इतिहास वाकई में
अरे
क्या है?
यार ये तो हमारा सोचने की बात है, इसका भी एक इतिहास, मतलब कुछ ना कुछ बड़ी
सर ने
बात है यार।
ये बोल के सोच में डूबा था कि पिज्जा का भी इतिहास है।
इतिहास होता है इसका भी कोई।
Pizza. It's cheap, it's delicious, and it's portable too. For these
Say
reasons
what?
and more, it's the food of college students, soldiers, and birthday parties.
Oh,
This doesn't stray
oh.
far from pizza's roots. As far back as ancient Rome, there is evidence that a flatbread with toppings was used as rations for soldiers. In Virgil's Aeneid, he describes a suspiciously pizza-like food when he says that the soldiers devoured the
Rome
cakes
में
of
pizza
flour
था
that they
मतलब।
used as plates. Today, just like all the way back then, pizza is a fast, cheap, and convenient food. I'm Daniel Seehausen, and this is The Answer
तो
on
ये
That.
हमारे तक भी पहुंच गया पिज्जा तो यार।
While there may have been a flatbread similar to pizza in the ancient world, most experts would peg the
हाँ,
true
रोटी जैसी
beginning of
रहती है और
pizza's
क्या?
history in Naples in the 18th century.
There are two things to
Buzz.
remember about pizza. One, it's cheap. Two, it's portable. The cheapness and the portability of pizza made it food for the poor.
That's Carol Helstotsky, a professor
गरीबों का
at the
खाना।
University of
हैं?
Denver, with a research focus on the history of
हाँ
food.
तो हमें खाते
I
हैं।
don't think it's coincidental that pizza's origins are in Naples. Naples was predominantly a port city. There is along the
So
Bay
they're
of
kind of
Naples a lot of working class housing. These were not spacious apartments. Very few people had anything that resembled a working kitchen. And so people lived on street food. And the street food had to be cheap because people lived, daily wages, or they were day laborers, or they worked on, unloading ships or fishing or whatever they
मजदूर
could
लोग
do to
ने लोग
get
खाया करते
by.
थे।
So a lot of people had to live on street food, and the food had to be portable. Food had to be brought into these working class neighborhoods and sold to people.
सही है, ये भी वो
In the early
portable
days of pizza, it would have been sold like hot dogs on the streets of New York City today. The pizza would have been brought into poor areas by the cooks and set up on tables in the hot sun, and then sold by the slice for very little money to the workers who needed a meal. And for at least 100 years, pizza remained a working class food. In 1831, Samuel Morse, of Morse Code
Cha?
fame, gave pizza a rave review. A species of most nauseating cake, it altogether looks like a piece of bread that had been taken reeking out of the sewer. But that started to change in the 19th century when Italy was unifying.
Italy was not so unified even after it was politically unified, right? And bringing together all these folks on this rocky peninsula was no easy
इटली में
task.
इज्जत हुई इसकी।
Queen Margherita is visiting Naples, and this is a big deal for someone from central Italy to go down to the city of Naples. And while they are there, she would like to try some characteristic food. She doesn't say, I want to have food of the poor, I don't think. But in any case,
Guarani.
as the myth goes, she wants to try this pizza. And so Raffaele Esposito, who's a famous pizza maker, creates these pizzas for her.
He made the queen 3 pizzas. The first was topped with lard, cacio cavallo, a type of cheese, and
बनाने
basil.
के लिए 3
The
पिज्जा
second
बने।
pizza
pizza
had
बना
fish on
लिए
it.
यार।
And he also made her pizza al mozzarella, which was topped with basil, tomatoes, and, of course, mozzarella cheese. Pizza al mozzarella was
Variety
Queen
भी देती
Margherita's
उसमें
favorite
तीन।
of the 3.
हाँ यार।
And so she proclaims she likes this one the best. And then there is in pizzeria, there is a card saying, I have tried these pizzas, I proclaim them quite good. And so the pizza is then named after her. And it's this great story. It's also very patriotic because the white of the mozzarella, the red of the tomatoes, the green of the basil, these are the colors of the Italian flag, right?
And that is the origin story of the pizza margherita. But as Italy unified,
हाँ यार,
there weren't
इटली
enough
के
jobs
झंडे जैसा
for
कलर हो
poor
गया है
rural
तो यार।
Italians, especially in the south of Italy, and opportunities began to open up around the world from burgeoning empires like America. Demand for manual labor around the 20th century, especially in factories, on plantations, on railroads, and in mines, pushed Italians to look elsewhere for, as they put it, work and bread. Because of these factors, record numbers of Italians left Italy from 1876 to 1915. By some counts, as many as 11 million, which was nearly a third of the population of Italy at that time.
If we think about Italy as a country,
लोग
it's
चले गए यार।
really good at exporting its population. Immigrants left Italy looking for better lives, so Italians kind of spread themselves all across the globe. And in doing so,
पूरी दुनिया में
brought
फैल गए
in
भी है
free
इटली के
ways
लोग
and
देखो आप
free
कैसे
हाँ,
फैल
यार।
रहा
And one of the places that Italians went was the United
उन्हीं
States.
की वजह से पिज्जा भी मिल
Lombardi's
गया
was the
ये बात
first
भी है।
officially licensed pizzeria in America. He and his employee, Totono, started selling pizzas baked in a coal oven.
ये दुकान थी
Antonio
पहले
would go
अमेरिका
on to
में
open
पिज्जा की
his
दुकान
own
है।
famous pizzeria,
देखो।
Totono's, in the 1920s. Though the original location of Lombardi's closed in the 80s, it reopened a few streets over a decade later. It even still uses the same coal oven it used nearly a century before. Many of Lombardi's employees, like Totono, would go on to open their own pizzerias. This began what some would call the
हिलते ही
pizza
चले गया,
belt
देखो।
in the Northeast. Though Lombardi's loves to brag that they were the first pizza in the United States, their website is literally called www.firstpizza.com. In reality, many Italian Americans were selling pizza without licenses prior to Lombardi's.
When Italians moved to a place, a lot of the pizza making was taking place in bakeries.
पहले भी
Was,
छोटे-मोटे
you know,
कहीं
people
बेच
would
रहे थे
make
लोग।
these pizzas, and again, like they did in Naples, you know, bring them out into the streets and sell
उसका
them
होगा,
to
बड़े
people
दुकान खोल ली
who
थी।
were going off to work. And so there were a lot of mobile vendors all across the United States, wherever there were Italian
ठेले पे भी बिकता था
American
भैया, और
migrants. But the pizzerias are the sort of the stationary places where you prepare a pizza and have people either grab it there and take it away or eat it there. And so these pizzerias develop in the Northeast and become, I think because of their longevity, become really well known. And we could talk about the New Haven pizzerias like Sally's, for example, Lombardi's in New York, et cetera, that these are sort of these places that have staying power. And so they become almost canonical, right, in pizza history. Really important places.
At first, pizza spread across the East Coast as an Italian-American specialty. Then it became popular throughout the United States because some decidedly not Italian men revolutionized pizza yet again.
The fast food pizza, right? Pizza delivery gets its start from Domino's and from Pizza Hut. And those are two companies that were started, two restaurant chains that were started by men who were not Italian.
घर
They had
तक पहुंच
nothing
गया
to
भैया,
do
देखो
with Italy. Both of them set up shop purposely close to universities and to military bases. And I found this fascinating, right? Because students
Military और
and,
university वालों को पहले target
soldiers who
बनाया
were
गया है।
stationed at military bases wanted something cheap, they wanted something portable, and they wanted something filling. Pizza fits all those categories.
To some pizza purists, fast
सस्ता है,
food
चलता
pizza
है,
like Domino's and
कहीं भी ले
Pizza
जाओ।
Hut is an
आसानी से।
abomination of safe, samey pizza, but its impact cannot be understated on pizza as a whole. After Pizza Hut was founded in Wichita, Kansas by Dan and Frank Carney, it grew quickly and spread pizza around the globe to unexpected places like Asia and the Middle East, using a technique known as localization, where they would move into places that may have been averse to typical pizzas and would offer local variants with ingredients people would recognize to get them to try pizza for the very
दिमाग तो
first
अच्छा
time.
लगा लिया।
Unlike McDonald's that would come into areas and shut down their local competition, Pizza Hut and Domino's usually didn't kill local pizzerias. Pizza delivery even accidentally invented a new kind of prank, ordering tons of pizza to the door of an unsuspecting friend or enemy. The most amusing version of this joke, in my opinion, is when US Army officials ordered dozens of pizzas to the door of an anti-war activist. But he had college students living at home, so he said, "When a pizza's delivered, I just stick my hand into my wallet without asking questions." He didn't even realize that he was being harassed by government officials with pizza. And with pizza available at nearly every street corner, and now even delivered straight to your home, pizza had only one more market left to conquer: home cooking. Another innovation was on the horizon that would revolutionize pizza one last time: frozen pizzas. In the 50s, frozen pizza capitalized on two trends to gain popularity. At the time, ethnic foods were becoming popular, and pizza came to represent Italians to the rest of suburban America. And perhaps, just as important, convenient foods were gripping the nation. TV dinners, boxed meals, and all foods that were quick and easy to prepare were becoming a new profitable market. Pizza delivery and frozen pizzas took the dish from a slice eaten on the street or in a pizzeria to something eaten in the privacy of one's own home.
And so you have this whole food industry that supports the popularization of pizza. So it becomes ubiquitous. It becomes everywhere. One could venture a guess that people just inevitably, right, the sort of the law of averages, will at some point consume pizza if it's everywhere and available in restaurants and available in grocery stores and on every street corner. Eventually, everyone, no matter how wealthy or poor, is going to get around to eating it.
These new options of delivery or just picking up a pie frozen at the store exploded pizza into every corner of the US. As Karol Helstotski put it, in 1945, few people understood what a pizza was. Within 2 decades, it was hard to avoid pizza. From Naples to New York, and from New York to the world, pizza has become a staple food for everyone, from the poor of southern Italy in the 1800s to nearly every college student in America today. Pizza is a part of almost everyone's daily diet. But few people think about the rich history of pizza. Whether it was made for the Queen of Italy at the turn of the 19th century or reheated in an oven to feed a family in the 50s, pizza will remain an important and iconic Italian dish for just about anyone at any time.
पिज्जा तो वाकई में ये तो मालूम है कि दुनिया भर में फेमस है और आज हमने उसका इतिहास जान लिया तो वाकई में बहुत अच्छा हुआ हमारे लिए। तो वाकई में बखूबी अच्छी जानकारी हासिल लगी हमारे को।
ये बात तो है कि पिज्जा का इतिहास बहुत जबरदस्त है, मतलब पूरी दुनिया में फैल गया हो धीरे धीरे करके। और यहाँ तक ठेले पे भी बिकता था, छोटी सी दुकान भी लगाई और धीरे धीरे करके पूरी दुनिया में फैल गया। और उसके साथ साथ घर बैठे बैठे भी मंगवा सकते हो आप।
ये
सबसे बड़ी बात
ये तो मेरे को आज पता चला साला कि फ्रिज का जमाओ, पिज्जा लाओ घर में गर्म करके खा लो यार।
बोलो आप,
दिमाग चक्कर खा जाए यार। ये तो आज मालूम पड़ा मेरे को यार, ये भी होता है। बढ़िया काम है तो यार।
तो फ्रिज का जमा हुआ पिज्जा, आइसक्रीम सुनी थी कि फ्रिज की जमी हुई आती, कुल्फी सुनी थी और दूसरी चीजें सुनी थी। पिज्जा भी फ्रिज का जमा हुआ, वो गरम करके लाके खा लो घर पे।
किसी को बताओ तो पागल समझे, बोला पागल पिज्जा तो
भाई वो इसलिए करा होगा फ्रिज का जमा हुआ कि ताकि बिगड़े नहीं, खराब नहीं हो।
वो तो नहीं,
सोच समझ के बनाया।
किसी को नए इंसान को बताओ तो अचंभे में वो पड़ जाए, बोला पागल हो गया क्या तू, ऐसी बात करी है।
बाकी वो ऐसी चीज है कि जिसको बच्चा भी पसंद करता है और बुड्ढा भी पसंद करता है।
ये बात तो सही बोली तूने यार, बाकी में भी हर लोग पसंद करते हैं। बाकी में भी एक काम करो तो पिज्जा देख के, सर भूख लग गई है, वीडियो बंद करो आप, तो पिज्जा देख कर पिज्जा खाएंगे। नमस्ते।